Welcome to the Your Fitness Chick podcast. Become your best self. I'm your host and fitness chick, Abby Smiley-Krause, and I have another super awesome episode lined up for you today. And today I am in double trouble for a couple reasons. I have two guys on the show with two similar names, so we'll see how we handle this. But these two guys have quite an impressive resume, and they are the owner of AO Supplements, and they're going to share with us today some really exciting info, some really good education on supplements, and a lot of the misconceptions that also fall along with supplementation. So without further ado, I have with me the owners of AO Nutrition, Franco Tragesser and Frankie Castiglione. So welcome, guys. How are you today?
Thank you.
Hello.
Amazing.
We're all pumped up this morning. So listen, guys, I just want our audience to know a little bit of a brief background on each of you, just so they know where you've gathered the education information to share with us today, all that you know. So let's start with you, Franco. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 42 years old. My background is in steam engineering. I went to the Massachusetts Maritime Academy I was there from 2000 to 2004. And that's really where I started getting a grip on a lot of the different sciences behind basically performance enhancers and how to enhance yourself, because that facility it's a military academy, so it's a lot like jail. So one of the big things that you get to do when you're there is work out, and that's what everyone did, like around 3 o'clock. So you were constantly, and at that time I was in my early 20s. I was trying to be the best version of myself and basically, mimic the guys from Pumping Iron. And I found out very quickly that performance enhancers would help assist me on my way to achieving my goals. So that's basically my background. I kind of fell into it. I was there for engineering, but I was studying a lot more chemistry on the side than I probably should have been.
Well, I always say the universe doesn't make any mistakes. So if you're not getting on the right journey and path, right, it'll go, boom, no, this is what you're supposed to do. So there wasn't an accident there for sure. So what about you, Frankie?
So I started out pretty young in the fitness game, just working out. And basically got like my first set. Do you remember?
Of course,
Valley
one of my
Full
best
Fitness?
friends was a big head honcho there. Yeah.
Really? So in North Miami Beach, I got my first job there. I was assistant manager and kind of grew from there. But I am a numbers guy, so kind of got tired of the slanging memberships deal and some personal training and stuff. So I got into banking. And really, that's where I started like climbing the corporate ladders and learning more about finance and operations. And then I left the bank after the recession in 2008 and got into, like constructions and basically just different industries. And that's when I deep dive into marketing. So what I found was my niche in finance and then digital marketing. So I studied that, operations, and for about 15 years, that's really what I focused on. Now, as far as my supplementation and stuff like that, that started pretty young as well. I was 17 actually when I started anabolics, but diving into supplements and all that, learning young, and took that throughout my career. But I was doing business consulting, reached out to my buddy Frank. We've known each other for probably 20 years. And it just seemed kind of like you said, the universe brought us together. What I did really well was kind of something he didn't. What he does really well was kind of my weakness. So we just had a very complementary relationship, and it came together, and we haven't looked back since.
So let me ask you this, were you guys just both interested in fitness and getting jacked for the chicks, or were you like competing? Did you guys ever compete at all?
Mine was probably 7% about the chicks, yes. I mean, if we're being honest, for sure, the attention, and I got it, you know what I mean? It wasn't, especially when you started playing with the more hardcore supplementation, the performance enhancers. But then it became, especially in the last 10 years, something that I wanted longevity. And there's no way I could do what I did when I was young. So that's when you start really doing the research, figuring out what works for you. your body, the recovery that you need, how many sets, reps, how long you could train for your cardiovascular. So I didn't want to just be in shape physically. I wanted my heart to be in shape. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to run a mile, chase my kids for as long as I possibly can, get on the soccer field, football field, and just learning a lot about myself, again, what worked and what you need to fulfill those needs. That helped me a lot.
Yeah, what about you, Franco? Did you compete or did you just want the checks?
I never competed. I thought about it. Honestly, I got married relatively young, and I had kids pretty young, so I had to work. I couldn't really focus as much as I wanted to, because when I was in my mid-20s, I had already had my daughter, and I was already trying to be a dad, and I had to provide for a family. So I was working at a power plant at that time. So I would get up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock to work out early in the morning, because I had to go to work all day. I couldn't go after work. I wasn't going. But in those days, I would really set aside time and try to stay consistent with it. I did it for myself. I want to look attractive. I don't want to look like, I want to look as good as I possibly can. And you're gifted with whatever God gives you, but you can always make that. You can always make it look better. I mean, it's something that helps with my confidence, and it'll help. It's helped with my relationships too, because if you're in shape, you have more to offer than somebody who's not, I mean, and then obviously we're all in competition with each other, like it or not. So, when you walk into a room full of men, they're going to automatically see your resume, which is what you look like. And they're going to think, okay, this guy's driven, or this guy's someone that, could demand respect, versus if you don't care about yourself, it's hard for other people to really take you seriously.
And I think working out it's more than just physical. Again, it's the mentality, and that's something else that we realize and try and coach people is that usually comes with it. When you see somebody that's in shape, man, woman, doesn't matter, they're putting in work, and you can't just do that on the whim or when you feel like it. You have to
100%, and that's the thing.
But I did want to show you.
What's that? Oh wow! Look at that.
I competed in 18. That's our we have a Tier T clinic.
Very cool.
AOMed.
Very cool. What year was that? 18. Okay.
18.
I haven't competed since 09. I'm competing in October this year. So it's a little bit of a game changer. When I was doing it before, I was like, yeah, I just want to look good and all that. And it was for the mental part too. But now I'm almost 50 years old. So it's about, okay, longevity of life has been extended because they've come up with many more medications and stuff like that, which many of that is just bullshit in itself. But the thing is that I wanted good quality of life. And so that's now my mindset when I work out. The bonus part is, yeah, you look good. And I agree with you 100% that when you walk into a room and you look healthy, you look fit, you already know if you see a person like that they have ambition, that they have drive. And if I was an employer interviewing somebody, that person looks like they're going to be responsible and show up, right? So it does say a lot about you before you say a word, because your body is a walking billboard 100%. So with all that, I hear a lot of times from my fitness clients about supplements, the confusion of it, the misconceptions of it. A lot of people feel, obviously they're very expensive. I know how much money I spend a month on just supplements and my food, which I feel are investments. But a lot of people think it's to create a really expensive pee. So I want to know, I know, Franco, when you sent me your quick bio, you had said that you had discovered there was a lot of misconceptions with supplements and how they're marketed and made. So with that being said, with both of you guys together, how does AO Nutrition, let's talk about those misconceptions, but let's also talk about how AO Nutrition is superior and different than your competitors.
Well, I mean, the misconceptions that are there, a lot of people look at supplements and they're thinking drugs. Like, I was at a convention this past weekend, and all of a sudden they've got a guy with a lab coat out, and he's got, Jurassic Park, they got the people with lab coats and like safety glasses, and they got all this shit going on. That supplements aren't made like that for the most part. Like, anybody can basically say, put this, this, and this, and this in a pill. You have to know what you're doing. But that just right there goes to show you that a lot of times what companies try to do is they try to pull on, they want you to almost think like this stuff's like a drug, basically. And when people think drugs, they think, I take this pill and it does this to me. It
overnight.
It gives me this effect. It gives me this. It gives me that. Now, with that being said, and again, I don't want to ramble off, a lot of supplements hold the same properties that drugs do, okay? If you think about it, the way the supplement is, if it's derived from a plant, right? Okay, well, what's derived from a plant? You make cocaine from a plant. You make cannabis from a plant. You make heroin from a plant. These are all chemicals that you harvest from plant sources. So in a sense, you're using the same technology that you would when it comes to performance enhancing drugs, in a sense. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but synthetic testosterone, injectable testosterone, is made from yams, okay? So you can take supplements that are also derived from yams that hold steroidal compounds in them. Now, they don't work the exact same way, but the science is very similar. Like, when you're taking an androgenic compound, you're going to get androgenic effects the same way you would if you were taking injectable testosterone, in a sense. So again, a lot of people, some people think supplements are all snake oil. Some people think they're the same as drugs. A lot of companies try to market them to basically make you think you're buying a drug-like substance that's going to change you.
Yeah, magic pill.
A magic pill, in a sense that obviously it's going to assist you. It's going to help you. It's going to give you, I'd say, 19% extra, but the rest of that is on you. And that's regardless if you're on juice or not. A lot of people, I remember back when I was at the academy, people were taking juice and they were eating potato chip sandwiches, and they were wondering why they weren't changing what they looked like. Or they'd work out 3 days a week and then they'd go pig out. I'm like, that ain't going to do it. And that's on, I'm talking drugs. Like, it's got to take that mental discipline if you really want to get something done. And a lot of people focus very heavily on the supplements and the drugs, and they don't really focus that much on the training and the diet and the discipline, which is, we all know, that's where it 100%. Really gets done.
And yeah, I think a lot of people think there is that magic pill. I think a lot of people, most people, want that hack, that pill, that diet, that workout that's going to take them from looking the way that they currently do to fit and strong. And obviously we know that's just not the way it works. The most common one I personally get, and you guys probably get this from women a lot, is fat burners. They'll be like, tell me a good fat burner to take. And then I go in and I look at their Facebook page and they're out partying and drinking shit tons of alcohol and, then at some pizza place. And, you can take top notch stuff, but at the end of the day, you got to pay your rent, right? You got to pay your dues. You got to show up and you got to work your ass off. And so a lot of people don't realize the amount of time and energy it takes to develop a good physique. So I love that. So how would you describe, though, because when I talk about supplements, I'm not just talking about people who are doing like the juice, the gear, obviously that stuff. I'm talking about the legal stuff. I'm talking about vitamins. I'm talking about things that just improve people's quality of life, their overall health, their heart health, like their CoQ10, your omega fatty acids, stuff like that. So with your supplements, obviously supplements is a huge industry. And I know that's why you try to set yourself apart with your really cool videos, which everybody should go and follow AO Nutrition on Facebook because they put some really cool content on there. I'll have the links on the show notes. But how do you feel that your supplements are superior? The things that you offer to people, how is it different or superior in comparison to GNC or Vitamin Shop? Why should they buy from you?
Well, I mean, I'm the guy that pretty much is in charge of coming up with products that actually give effects and that work. Okay, in this industry, it's a very flooded, saturated industry. There's people every day with loads of money trying to shove pills, powders, and potions in people's faces, okay? The way we kind of do it and what's always worked is we do our best to put as much inside that product as possible, okay? It is a little bit challenging because people will try to steal your formulas. If you've got something that's good, people will try to steal your formulas and whatnot. So that becomes a little challenging, but for what's worked with us is we put as much as we can in the product, and then the word of mouth is usually what we have used as a really good marketing tool, because you can put a bunch of money into marketing and have a shit product, or you can have a really good product and hopefully that and then turns into your marketing for you. And that's kind of like how we've done it. I mean, in a sense, like the ingredients, to be 100% transparent, and I've said this on numerous live videos, numerous videos, everybody uses the same ingredients. Okay, everybody uses the same ingredients, and I'm honest about that. A lot of times people think they've got like scientists in the back splitting the atom and creating nuclear fusion with this stuff, but it's all the same ingredients. It's really about the amount of money you're putting into the compounds, and that's where we try to go overboard. We try to put in as much as we possibly can, because at the end of the day, if our clients don't get any effects, they're not going to come back. We've been around for 13 years, so it's worked in a sense that if we deliver a good quality product, plus I like to be available to the customers for questions. You call a company, you're never going to get the owner on the phone. He's never going to talk to you. It takes more than just throwing pills in somebody's face. They need to know what to do with them. They need to know how this is going to work in their body. And I can cover all that stuff because I know what the effects are of all the different compounds that we have in our products. And there's a reason why we came up with each one. Yeah. And each one of our products we've used, and it's proven itself before we've introduced it to the website.
We test a lot. I mean, and our competitors, we constantly test their stuff too. And that's why we went and had our own brand. We used to be like nutrition stores, GNC, and have 5% and all these other companies in here. And 5% is actually a pretty amazing company. But we figured out what really worked. We found the supplements and the compounds that weren't necessarily getting the people the results they wanted. We basically took the fluff out, we tested it out, and we made it work for us. We're athletes, and we made supplements for athletes, by athletes. Like Frank was saying, with the people with the beakers and the little test tubes and shit. It's a lot of people who aren't even in the fitness industry that are making these supplements, and it's like
they don't even take them.
They don't fucking understand it. So you know what I mean? They're not out there. They're not trying it. They're just putting numbers together, and they're throwing it out, and they're wishing for a Hail Mary. But
right.
We test these things. This guy does so much research. He's a fucking guru.
Like every single product that I come up with has a direct, there's a purpose for why.
And we've had some that don't work either.
Right.
And so we don't put them out there.
Or they don't make the cut. Like if they're not giving an effect, because at the end of the day, people have the option, let's be transparent here. They have the option to take, most people can get their hands on gear. Okay. True. That was me. I started taking gear when I was 17 years old. I took it all heavily throughout my 20s. And I definitely got side effects from it. My back used to break out. My liver enzymes were through the roof. It would definitely affect me mentally depending on what I was taking. Now, I'm an advocate for people to take TRT, but for the most part, a lot of these younger kids and a lot of even people in their 40s, they're taking too much gear. And over time, that's going to affect the longevity that Frank speaks about, because, if you look at us, are we the biggest dudes you've ever seen? No. But, I plan on being like this until I'm 65 years old, whereas a lot of the guys that I've seen that are a lot bigger, that have abused their bodies chemically, they can't keep doing it. They either stop gear or they die, because they're affecting their health so much. So I wanted to come up with things that you could take consistently that would help get you enhanced, but not to the point where you're sacrificing your health. And that's where a lot of these precursors, because again, a lot of the steroids in your body, you raise one, the other level chases it. And that's how we're basically able to get these supplements to give you an anabolic effect, because they're precursors. They raise one steroid hormone and then they raise the anabolic steroids in your body. And that's how it works. but it doesn't give you the same type of side effects. And a lot of people, they hear the word pro hormones and they remember the pro hormones of years ago that were basically steroids that hadn't been listed as being illegal. So people were taking these steroids, and because they were derived from plants, as I mentioned before, they could be sold in a gray area as a dietary supplement. Well, the government finally put the kibosh on that with the Designer Steroid Control Act, and a lot of people, they still remember taking those products and it screwing up their liver, or they were taking steroids. It's not like that anymore, where these are steroidal compounds, but they're not methylated. They're not methylated, like just methylated basically means it's smashing through your liver. Like any oral steroid that you take, it has to get through your liver to get in your bloodstream, so it has to be methylated to have an effect, because if not, like you couldn't eat testosterone because your body would kick it out just to give you absorb it. It doesn't, your body's liver would just filter it out, and you wouldn't get very much of any in your bloodstream. That's why you have to inject it to bypass your liver. But we've come up with a lot of good products that people like. And they give you an effect, and I say good rule of thumb, a mild, it gives you about 67% of what a mild steroid cycle would give you. And that's usually been the case with most people when they try our stacks and they try our products. If it's going to enhance you, it's just not going to be like taking 1,000 megs of test and tren every other day. It's not going to be like that. And I tell people
that's good that you do that, and I love that. That was one of the things that we were talking about before we started the show, was the transparency and honesty and just kind of the rawness, which for my people who follow me know I like raw and real. When you listen to my podcast episode today, I really kind of throw the shit out there for people bitching about their nutrition when they can't step away from the donuts. But that's a whole nother topic. So anyway, though, just like any industry, obviously the fitness industry, the supplement industry, which go hand in hand, they're always evolving. So there's always new developments. There's always new discoveries. There's always a new better than. But at the end of the day, like you said, Franco, there's only so many ways to make chocolate chip cookies, right? So you're going to have a lot of the same ingredients, right? In comparison, but obviously I think it speaks volumes that obviously you guys look the part. So, I'd listen to what you have to say. It's
Thank
like
you.
women, if they go to a makeup counter and they look like Mimi from, what's that show with blue eyes? You're like, would you do my makeup? Hell no. So you're going to have so much more respect for people who are in the trenches, who are showing you that obviously your supplements do what they need to. And I love that you test them. So what are your 3 favorite supplements? I want to divide this into 2 categories, okay? Because obviously the audience that is listening to this, there's deconditioned people, there's people that are wanting to get jacked, and there's people who are already jacked and are competing, okay? So obviously people in those different categories are going to be drawn to different kind of supplements, right? So first,
Sure.
I want to ask you, if you have a typical, let's say, female or male that's around 50 years old, that is deconditioned, that is your average, a little overweight, wants to lose some fat, obviously we would tell them to go to the gym. But what are 3 supplements you would recommend towards a more deconditioned person to help promote them into optimal body function?
What do you think? Like 50-year-old, wanting to possibly lose a little bit, maybe like scorpion tabs, phentermine, and then like a Finadrol.
I would start with some type of a hormone-based pro hormone that would basically increase that, because at 50 he's going to be deficient more times than not. I would ask, okay, are you on TRT? Because a lot of these people that come to us, they're already on TRT.
Now tell the listeners, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's going to be some people that are listening to this that do not know what TRT is. What is TRT?
Oh, testosterone replacement therapy. Like, I have a prescription for testosterone through our clinic.
Okay.
So does Frank. And we get if that's to keep our levels at, this is not like it's prescribed. So it's not like we're getting it, and just doing it to ourselves. It's to give us that optimal level of testosterone. If they're not on TRT, or even if they are, I would probably say Benadryl, and then I would say Thinnermine, and then I would say like MD2. That would be mine.
That's my favorite product.
That would be mine, and I'll tell you why. The Benadryl is going to increase their hormone levels, which is going to help give them those anabolic hormones. That's going to help them put on muscle. The Thinnermine is basically going to help them shed that body fat. It's not a it's not like a thermogenic. It's basically kind of more like an appetite suppressant. It helps your body release more of the body fat that you currently have by it basically turns your white fat into brown fat, which helps your body convert that reserve into energy. And then the MD2 is something they can take at the gym. They're going to feel it instantly, because a lot of times when people take something, they're like, okay, is it working? Like it's crack or something. Like, they expect it. They want it to work right then and there. So the MD2 is something that it gives an immediate effect that you can feel while you're training. And again, a lot of this stuff is preference. I mean, some people, they swear they love Androdrol, and then they like halotropin with it. And then other people are like, oh, I love Terkestrol with Andropure. A lot of it is just kind of knowing your body. Right. There's a bunch of different compounds that we have, and some people are partial to some others. It's really Coke and Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb. But I can point people in a direction to where they can make their own mind up. I can explain to them what it's going to do to their body, and then I can give recommendations, which I do all the time. But someone who's 50, I would, or Scorpion Tabs, that's one of our major selling compounds that basically helps regulate his natural testosterone. It does work as a sexual enhancement supplement, which it does give an effect with that. So a lot of people like that compound. And again, you just kind of read the customer and just see how we can help them and make sure that they're getting the results that they're investing.
And I love that, because you know what a lot of people don't realize, especially women, and I'm sure that you'll agree with this, is when we're talking about testosterone, women, you need testosterone. And, as we age, it starts to drop, and that affects the amount of lean muscle mass that you're able to have in your reservoir, right? Which ultimately, the more lean muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolic rate, the more fat you're going to burn, the more weight you're going to lose just sitting on your ass doing absolutely nothing, right? So we want to fuel that. We want to equip the body with testosterone and things like that in a healthy, safe amount to assist the body in doing what we're trying to make it do, right?
That's a big misconception, I think, in our industry, for women at least, altogether. Working out, putting on too much muscle, or like you said, testosterone products. It's like everybody's terrified of that. But what we found is exactly what you said. It's essential. And
people don't realize too. Like,
you need to train.
A lot of my clients will look at me and I'm like, I don't want to look like you, and I'm like, you won't ever.
You won't.
And I don't mean that egotistically. I just mean people do not realize this is my life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a freak about my sleep. I'm a freak about my food. I'm a freak about my working out. And it takes a lot to look like this. And I don't mean that egotistically. But, women do fear, from testosterone and lifting weights. Oh, my God, I'm going to look like freaking Hulk Hogan. Well, that's just not the case. You're going to actually assist with that toned look and losing weight. Because that's the only way you can change your body composition is through increasing your lean mass, right? Exactly. So let's talk now about, because I have a lot of guys that listen to my podcast or follow me on Facebook. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, so for the guys that are looking to same scenario, let's say the guys out there with the dad bod, right? That don't want the dad bod anymore, right? That are looking to gain muscle. Like, they're not just wanting to lose weight. They're wanting to put on some really good muscle, some significant muscle. What are the 3 supplements you would recommend for that?
We actually have a perfect answer for that. It's called the Jacked Dad Bod.
Oh my God, I didn't even know that. That's perfect. Okay.
It's actually 4, but do you want to go into the details on that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Jack Dad Bod stack would probably be ideal. It's got Andropure. That's a compound that we basically came up with that we try to get it as close to what a mild TRT regimen would give somebody, because at the end of the day, like, it's testosterone levels are so important, especially with older guys, because a lot of these guys that are overweight, their estrogens are out of control. So for the most part, we have to be able to increase those anabolic compounds like testosterone, precursors in there. That's another compound that's going to be able to help keep their hormone levels regulated. 25 hours, basically a precursor to boldenone. It's in liquid formula. That's equipoise. So basically it converts in your body to equipoise. And then we've got hydroxybar. Again, that's another anabolic compound that we have seen people. We've seen people get results in line with people who are trying to lose a little bit of weight, and also the anti-aging compounds or properties. So those 4 is what we usually put people on. But to be honest with you, if everybody's different,
Yes.
okay, I can't just throw supplements at everybody. I've got a lot of times I want to hear, okay, talk to me. What do you got going on? What's your diet like? Because a lot of times if someone takes these supplements and uses them as a pizza topping, it ain't going to work. They're wasting their money and they're wasting my time and their time. So I would want to know, okay, let's talk. What are you doing? Because we also have an HRT clinic franchise that if they want to take the next step, okay, I would first say, let's get you on the over-the-counter stuff. And then what we can do is we can take you to the next step and we can get you prescribed testosterone, depending on what state you live in. So that's something that I recommend, because at the end of the day, I want these people to get results. It's not about them buying these pills, powders, and potions. It's about them achieving the goal that they want, or them getting the results that they are investing in. Like, so I'm obligated to help these people.
That's awesome, and I think that speaks volume.
If we're able to
Go ahead, Frankie.
If we're able to get in touch with as many people as possible, obviously that's what we try and do, is get to know the person and then give them recommendations based on their lifestyle, not just their goals. Everything intertwines with each other. But for those people who just jump on a site and want to pick it, that's kind of where we did the best we could to determine, like you said, okay, somebody in this demographic that wants these results, hopefully this is where they're at. The majority seems like of the customers, so we created these stacks to be the most advantageous.
And that makes it easy, because that's the thing. I think most consumers get really super confused. Do I take this in the morning? Do I take this at night? Do I take this with this? Is this going to be contraindicative of this? So by having those stacks on your website, which the majority of your sales are online, so everybody all over the world can order your stuff. Yes. And we'll have that in the show notes as well. It makes it really kind of take the guesswork out for people. So that's pretty amazing. So I do want to point out, though, we are not doctors. You should always consult a doctor prior to taking any supplementation. Yes. We should have headed this show with us. There will be no stewing of AO Nutrition or your fitness check, right? We want you to do this in a healthy way, but you should always consult a doctor before you start a supplementation program, right? So what are the contraindications, of some of these things? Because I know some people just, man, they're terrified. I put people on creatine and they freak out, and it's like, okay, you're okay. It's okay. With side effects, what is the most dominant side effect when taking some of these things that people should be aware of?
Well, anytime, here's the thing, and this is, again, I got to be transparent with it. If there's no side effects, chances are there's not going to be any effects. Okay. There's no such thing as a magic pill that's just going to give you everything that you want. Even in life, yes. Think about it. Like, what happens if it's easy to become overweight for most people, right? What's the side effect to that? Well, it's going to affect your relationship. It's going to affect you're going to feel tired. Those are all side effects. And that's just to give you an example. So the same principles happen whenever it comes to taking a performance enhancer, right? So when you start messing around with your hormones, right? When you increase your anabolic hormones, a lot of the other hormones will chase that anabolic hormone. Same thing when you take injectable testosterone replacement therapy or illegal performance enhancers. It does the same thing. It just does it at a lesser level.
Yeah.
So you're
Estrogen,
getting
DHT.
right. The ratio of your gains, what you get as far as gains versus side effects, there's a little bit more of a disparity there. Whereas like if you're on, let's just call it 1,000 millimegs a test and trend every other day, your side effects are going to be here and your gains are going to be here. Okay. With our stuff and other stuff similar in the industry, your gains are going to be here, your side effects are going to be here in a sense. So there's more of a disparity between the gains versus the side effects, but you're going to get all the same. If you're taking androgenic compounds, you're going to get androgenic side effects. It is what it is. And again, the science is the exact same as when you're taking injectable or illegal steroids.
And we have on-cycle and off-cycle therapy as well to help combat some of those.
Right. So stuff that's like going to filter the liver and stuff like that.
Yep.
Well,
organ armor.
And believe it or not, I don't know if you know this or not, but when it comes to liver protection, what you got to remember when you're taking a oral compound, if it can't get through your liver, it's not going to get in your system. And a lot of times people will take all this liver guard. They're taking Tutka and they're taking NAC and all this crazy stuff. Well, what that does is it creates a bile around your liver. So now the compounds can't get into your system, right? So a lot of times it's honestly better to do a really good liver cleanse after you're done with your cycle. Then that way it won't affect your gains. A lot of people might not know that.
I didn't know that until I met this guy. I was like, damn, that makes sense. That's
there's actually a bile that's around your liver that's kind of like shields in Star Trek. So you want to make sure that you can still, it's the nature of the beast, and your liver enzymes are probably going to go up. I mean, your liver enzymes can go up for eating too much protein.
Taking vitamins.
Oh yeah. And like, depending on the time of day you get your blood test, and that's another thing. People need to get their blood work done. I don't care if you're who you are. I don't care if you're on stuff or not. You need to get your blood work done, because a lot of times what we run into is people, they're not in a position to really be able to do this properly, so they half-ass it. You know, they're like, okay, give me the product that gives me I want the steroids. I want the stuff that gives me all the gains. Well, do you need a liver guard? No, I don't need that. All I got is enough for, this one thing. And the problem is you can't do it like that, because now you're setting yourself up, because now you don't have a PCT. Now you don't have an on-cycle support. Now you're basically half-assing it, because you're not really prepared to really focus and do it properly. And that
and having your blood work too, it's kind of like your roadmap, because you might find out some other things that you weren't aware of, that this is now the least of your problems. So, you definitely want to find that out and keep this unhealthy, because at the end of it all, this is the thing I always stress to people. When you're into bodybuilding, when we're talking about the people that are listening to this that are in that world, when you're into bodybuilding and when you're into fitness, if you're doing stupid shit that makes you unhealthy, isn't that a little contraindicative of what we're trying to portray, which is ultimately health and longevity and all that stuff? And if you're doing stupid shit that's taking years off your life and going to make the quality of your life not great later, well, that's dumb. So you do have to be smart about what you're doing, and you have to educate yourself. And if you don't know, find people like you guys that can help educate people and lead them in the right direction. Right? So I love the comment you made about if you're using this as a pizza topping. So let's talk about nutrition real quick. So my episode today for my podcast that is already up on Spotify and Apple is about nutrition. And that's really what I stress all the time too. The fork is mightier than the gym. Right? If you're going to the gym and you're sweating like a mother and you're working hard, but you're not taking supplements and you're not eating appropriately, if you're not fueling the vessel, then you're not going to have the results. So obviously you guys are doing a good job at that. What tips would you have for the listeners on how to set themselves up for success on keeping their nutrition on target?
That's tough. It's really, that's part of that mentality, where you have to be disciplined. I think we try and coach people and let them know the same thing. Gym is maybe 20%, kitchen is like 80%, and it's 100% necessary to focus on that first. making sure they get I mean, we used to sell protein. We tell people, listen, buy chicken instead. Like, take this 40, $50 and just buy chicken. You're going to get so much
So you
more
don't do
out of
protein
it.
powder or protein bars?
We've got
don't
the
sell
powder in
them.
I mean, we've got
Really?
powder in the store that we've had from third-party vendors, but we just don't really see that much of a benefit as far as a lot of that protein. A lot of companies jump on that because it's a risk-free way for them to try to feed. Like, it's the big major companies are the ones that are making money off that. Like the big, like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Believe it or not, they have a lot of supplement companies that sell truckloads of protein, and that's how they're able to make money off of that. And yeah, you can, people are told to eat their protein in the magazines, and you always see some jack dude holding the protein shake up. But at the end of the day, that's not giving you really any gains. You could go and just eat, a chicken sandwich, and you get better quality protein that way. So
it's a shortcut almost. It's just we prefer, and that's another thing I believe, at least with your mental acuity, is you're trying to eat a protein shake. Why? Is this just something you have zero time you're trying to eat at work? That's fine. But getting actual protein from a meat source or something like that versus synthetic, I think it's always going to be more beneficial. It's going to help you. And then by cooking that meal and beginning that routine, it's substantial. And you doing that long term, you have to build habits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. We want to build a lifestyle, not just here, drink a shake here, drink a shake there, and you're good. No, do the work, learn what you're eating, do the right portions, because portion control is huge right now. I'll eat 7 times a day, but I don't eat till I'm full. You have to have those right portions. And
you plan it out.
Right. We both use meal prep companies. We both
do you? Which ones do you like?
We use. Well, I'm on Eat Clean. And I used to actually own a meal prep company. I started Superfit Foods in Jacksonville. So we both have a background in that, and we're actually
possibly getting back.
We're going to be getting back into it because we feel like it's such a necessity that we want to be able to offer that to our clients, because these people, I talk to these guys all the time, and they want, a lot of times they'll start talking to me like what they do, and I'm like, bro, time out. You're 60 pounds overweight. Like, it's not time to talk. Like, you need to listen to what I need to say to help you, because whatever you're doing is not working. And a lot of time they'll say, oh, I eat chicken breast and I eat broccoli. And I'm like, then how are you 70 pounds overweight then? If that's really what you're eating. Like, there's a lot of denial there, but I mean, it goes right back to the whole, how vital your nutrition is. You got to stay consistent with that. There's no way around it. It's a tough one. It's tough for some people. You see them all the time. They go to the gym and they're still fat and out of shape because they get home and, I worked out, so now I can eat like shit. No,
you're maintaining at best.
Not even.
Because the clock's against you, and you're aging every day, which means your metabolism and your testosterone, all that's starting to F you more. So you gotta set the reset button. So, and I actually did a video about that a couple weeks ago about, going to the gym. I go at 5, and there's that 5 a.m. club. And I see a lot of the people that show up consistently. I got my little co-host back here.
You got guests, yeah.
But I see the people who show up, and it takes a special discipline for people to show up every day at 5 a.m. But I see these people on a regular basis, and a very small amount of them look like any different. And it's because they're not on target with their nutrition. Now, I am somewhat of a fan of protein supplementation because it is hard for people to get it in, especially when you're trying to build, like me. I do meal prep twice a week. I'm all in it to win it. I'm on point. But to get the amount of protein in a day, you can only chew so many chicken breasts. You can only eat so many salmon. And actually, there are some protein companies out there, and I'm just saying this because I have people I put on protein powder, and I don't want them to go, wait, I thought you liked it. Yes. That is actually made from like salmon, from chicken and stuff like that. So there are companies that are using that and not just manufacturing synthetically, the whey isolate and stuff like that. So there are some improvements. Like I said, it's always evolutionizing and discoveries are being made. But I am a fan somewhat, but I agree with you in the same breath that you're definitely going to have a more advantageous result from consuming whole foods like your chicken, your turkey, and stuff like that, because it has a different amino acid schematic to it, and you're going to get different benefits. So just wanted to point that out too.
Yeah. No, but you're right, and that's it. It depends. I mean, people in our industry or at our level, then you've already done the prep work. You've already consistent. You're already disciplined. Like you said, you're getting it because there's really no other way, but you're not avoiding the work.
Right, and it makes up. It's supplements. It doesn't make up the majority of my, because I eat 7 times a day too, and I'm usually adding it in to something else that's whole food. So I agree with you on that. So with that, the mental mindset is the part that people have to start with, right? Like, you can get the gym membership, you can buy the supplements, you can go to Publix, you can make your food, you can stock it, you can just say, I've got a cute new gym workout outfit to wear tomorrow, I got AirPods charged, I'm ready to go. But at the end of it all, if your mindset isn't right, you're not going to win. So what tips would you give people to help set themselves up for success with the right mindset and discipline to achieve their goals?
Go, please.
Okay. Here's one that I ran into a lot. Okay, and I this happens a lot. I catch myself doing this, and I'm not exempt to anything that I say, because a lot of times, like when I come up and I'll say something, I'm talking to myself because I'm my own worst critic, and I know when I'm slacking and I know when I need to improve. Okay. A lot of times I'll start talking to people and they'll start rambling off in the science behind the supplements and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, you're spending all this time researching supplements, researching drugs. Do another set of squats. Push yourself harder in the gym. Forget about all that crap. You're trying to mathematically learn the science and all this crap. That's not gonna help you. But people tend to gravitate towards what's easy for them, all right? And for some people, like when I was at school, okay, case in point, I got more gains than most kids did on average. Not the best, I'm not going to say that, but on average, I did better. There were some kids that would fall asleep in a thermodynamics class, wake up and get an A. I had to study. That's just the way it goes sometimes, and it's not always going to be easy. And I've noticed sometimes when stuff gets hard, a lot of times people just give up because, I can't do that. That's hard, because they've never had hard in front of them before. And this is hard for a lot of people. It's not easy, and they'll make excuses up like, it doesn't matter what I look like, or I don't care. My wife can just live with the fact that I'm 60 pounds overweight. I make a lot of money, so I heard that yesterday, and I said, "Do you think your wife appreciates that?" I said that. He didn't want to hear that, but it's the truth. I'm like, you don't think she's looking at some other guy, wishing that's what she was, crawling into bed with? People are people. Why don't you care enough about yourself to at least? I mean, you don't have to be, Mike O'Hearn, but at least everybody could. There's no reason anybody to be 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight. That's a choice. 10 pounds, okay, I'll give you 10 pounds. But, that's a choice. And a lot of times it's just saying, you got to be consistent and do the shit that you don't want to do. My back hurts. I got 2 blown discs. I got blown discs in my neck from football. Every day I wake up and it hurts. But I've got to bring my ass to that gym, and I've got to put down the pizza. And I've got to stay consistent, because guess what? In May, I'm going to be 43. And the following May, I'll be 44. And it's not going to get any easier. And I don't want to look back on my life and say, damn, I wish I'd have done something about this when I was younger. Because, I could say that now, but what about right now? I mean, I'm not that old. There's nothing holding me back except a little pain and uncomfortable in an uncomfortable setting. But, it's that or...
And people need to understand, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. At the end of it all, life's hard. We all have stories. We all have challenges. We all are dodging grenades every freaking day. Shit happens. And the obstacles are going to stack up against you to tell you to not do it. There's going to be more reasons not, right? It seems like. But that mental mindset, you make it sound easy, right? Because you're already there. But I'm going to the person that's listening to this that's like, I've tried, I've been on the diet roller coaster a million times, practically my whole entire freaking life. And they just kind of get to the point where they have just that sense of defeat that they really ultimately, at the end of the day, don't think they can do it. Like that's the roadblock, is they don't think they're either worthy of doing it, or they honestly don't think they can do it because they've tried so many times. So that's the mindset, that I'm looking for. Like, just having people understand you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and you've got to just keep getting back up no matter what. Right?
Absolutely. And the price of regret is 10 times the price
100%.
of success. And it will hurt. You're going to go through pain in life. It doesn't matter. You get to choose the direction. Is it going to be pain for progress, or pain for actual pain because you're overweight? Now you have medical issues. Now you're sad. You're depressed. Like, you choose your path. You choose your pain. And it's tougher for others, for some than others to get past that and believe in themselves, know they can do it, get back on that horse. Failure is only failure when you quit,
100%.
when you stop. So learn from those mistakes, learn from all those roller coasters, figure out what you did. And that's what a lot of people do. They repeat the same bullshit cycle. And it's that, what's the definition of crazy, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So try something else. And then consistency. It's a lot of people just get complacent, and their effort is 50% of what their actual 100% is. I don't know. I found that a lot in my life, is that, including myself, we just don't push yourself enough. We don't truly find out what we are, what's possible for us. What we're capable of. Like, there's so much more that we can give. What David got.
I love him.
He's crazy, but
I love him.
Can you imagine, like, having that growth mindset, having that ability to just push past your true limit and find out what you're capable of? And when you ask yourself that question, like, especially if you have kids, I'll be in the gym and I'll be done. Like, legs are killing me. I'm squatting. I'm like, there's no way I could do 3 more. And I picture my kids next to me saying, "You can do it, Daddy." Aww. Something like that. Like, whatever it takes for you. If a car's on top of them, and the only way to get it off of them is to do that next set. Like, you got to do it. Yeah, it could be for single people. Like, the only way you're going to get that chick walking by is if you hit 20 more reps. Like, go get it. But you got to get it done. Whatever motivates you, do it. I have to watch videos before I go to the gym. I'm not somebody who's motivated every single day to get there. In fact, probably 60% of the time, I have to drag my ass in there. And so I'm watching videos. I'm watching, Branch Warren killing it. Those guys that just have those killer mentalities where it doesn't matter. There's no feeling. It's a choice. It's a decision. So I don't care if I feel like doing or not. This is what we're doing. So you're showing up. You tell your mind basically to go fuck itself, and you get to the gym and do it.
This is what we do now.
Frank,
right? And I always say it's
what? Frank hit it.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say he hit a good point, because a lot of times, like, the types of people that end up calling me, because I'm the one who does a lot of the reactive sales and customer service, is a lot of men are trying to start over. Okay, we get a lot of men that that are predominantly our clients. I hear the story all the time. I'm 50. I'm overweight. Just got divorced. I'm having a rough time. With dating, and I'm like, well, yeah, you're 60 pounds overweight. Like, it's, no one's going to like you for you. Like, you're incompetent. If you can just sit there and a lot of people, because we're all told how special we all are and everything, and you are, to your mom and your dad. Aside from that, you're not. And I mean, and it's not, and I'm not saying these things to be mean. I'm saying it because a lot of times people don't understand that it's not just going to happen on its own. You're not just going to meet that chick that's, all these men, they want these, these beautiful women, and you don't think that those women, they expect something for that, because there's a lot of dudes that, they're all chasing the same women, and women chasing the same men, and these are all men that are in shape, that are successful. You have to be one of those guys if you want to be able to, get in there and actually be successful in that department, because you're not just going to magically run across some woman that doesn't care about what you look like, doesn't care about your success, because you're not offering her anything.
It
like,
opens doors.
It opens doors, exactly. And they need to accept, like, it's attached to that. Like, the people think, oh, I don't have the money for this. I'm like, how do you, like, you don't have the money for this? Like, are you kidding me? You don't have the money to be able to have a beautiful partner in your life that's going to make your life exponentially better. You don't have the money to not take part in a bunch of health problems when you're older. You don't have the money to have confidence and feel good about yourself and just know that, you know, you're the best version of yourself. I mean, to me, that's more important to me than a lot of stuff. I mean, I would trade, you know, a fancy car in for a better body, even better than the one I have. Because I know it's
yeah, 100%. It's an investment in your health. And, you know, I always say it's discipline that trumps everything, because consistency is good, but I could consistently be eating freaking donuts. You know what I mean? So it's the discipline, and people think that just because we're fit, and I love the gym, I honestly do, and I know for the most part you guys do too. But there are days when my alarm goes off at 3:30 that I'm like, fuck this, you know, like I'm so tired. And for half a second, I'll start strategizing. Well, if I don't go, and then I won't have to wash my hair, and then I'll be in a better mood, and I'll feel more rested. And you got to get those human growth hormones. So if I sleep more, I'm going to, you know, you try to talk yourself out of it. And then I'm just like, for half a second, I'll do that sometimes. And then I'll be like, no, get your ass up. This is what we do now. Because motivation fairies on the beach in Mexico with a fruity drink with an umbrella in it. And she said, you know, I'm not coming. Like, you need to make yourself do this. And people are looking for that inspiration and that just magic fairy that's going to come every day and say, you can do it. Well, it's not happening. And so you have to have that mental grit, that toughness, that discipline, that mindset that says, this is what we do now, right? So, as we're wrapping up here, you guys, let's see here. I have a few things. I know we've gone over a couple things, but what is the biggest takeaway that you hope our listeners learn from this episode?
Hopefully just more about nutrition, supplementation, maybe truths, like you said, misconceptions, just about the industry in general. As far as our company, honestly, that's always taken a back seat. I feel like education is number one, providing, you know, sound information to the people who are looking to better themselves. And then we're just a second part of that. You know, if they find us after that and they want to invest in our company, we're happy. But for me, that's the goal, is education.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just know that, like, there's no magic pill. That, you know, the supplement industry, for the most part, there's a lot of different, you know, there's a lot of different aspects of the supplement industry, and sometimes there's a lot of hype that, you know, people can get caught up in when it comes to these different products. At the end of the day, like you've said, you know, repeatedly, it's all about that mental discipline. And if you're not ready to make that, if you're not ready to be mentally tough, don't waste your money on supplements. Hell, don't waste your money on a gym membership. I see people all the time sleeping and talking on their phones, sitting on a machine. Why even go home and do that?
Yet,
but... Go home and do that. Yeah, I mean, but like go home and do that. You're not. I mean, if you want to sit there and talk to people and hang out on the phone, I mean, I guess you could do that too. But it's you're not getting anything done. If you're really serious about this, you've got to make a lifestyle change. It's got to be a priority in your life. You got to be thinking about it every day. You got to stay consistent with it. You can't casually get in shape. It's not. And people that say they can't, I'm like, nope, then you were never in shape. Yeah. You're lying. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'll have people try to tell me, oh, well, you know, I'm like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't.
So that we don't start to accumulate too many haters, I do want to just point out to this some encouraging words that, yeah, you know, we act like, yeah, get your ass to the gym. But at the end of it all, I would say to people, just start. Put one foot in front of the other. Yeah, okay. Start your habit stacking, right? Get good supplements from AO Nutrition. Start your nutrition plan. Get to the gym. Don't sleep on them freaking machines. And then as you start building those things, that's where you get your momentum and that's where you're going to start getting results. So believe in yourself. You can do
give it
it.
time.
You can do it. We're no different than anybody else. We just make
Absolutely.
different choices. And you can do it. You just have to start. So what's next for you guys? What's on the horizon for the rest of 2024?
Whew, we got a lot going on. So technically we have a meeting in about 30 minutes, again, about the meal prep. So hopefully we will have a nutrition meals
That would be
all
amazing. Your
over
fitness chick will
the
promote
United.
that to clients for sure.
Okay, yes, yes, we'll send you some meals if it goes that direction. We're still going to continue to build our it's called AO Med. That's our TRT, testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy clinic. It was doing pretty well then when COVID came, and then they shut it down. You know, they changed all the laws, so we're kind of getting
Slowly
back,
getting the
Okay.
states
dialing
back. You
in.
got Texas back, and you've got
Florida.
Florida, and now they're working on California and I believe New York, but they're slowly trying to get, because we were all over the
Oh.
country, and then they changed the laws, and we could only have patients in Florida. Now we're starting to get it back again, and hopefully we'll build it back better.
Yes.
You know, we're excited about a lot. We're definitely in the growth phase because this time of year is the year we really start to move. This is where people are into fitness from now until about June. That's the swell that we usually get.
Q1, Q2 for sure.
Yep, and we're super excited about it. We've done a lot of new content. We're trying to do our best to be that company that people can come to, and basically you're kind of like one of our brothers. I mean, again, I know I say a lot of harsh stuff, but at the end of the day, like if somebody's serious about changing the way they look, I'll take the time. I'll answer the phone and I'll talk to that person one-on-one. If they're serious about it and they want to make a change, I'll be that person's biggest fan. Like that's the
You're just
swing.
a tough
And a
love
lot
guy.
of times,
That's what it
people
is.
that Right,
Yeah.
because I want these people I want them, because I feel like the nonchalant hasn't
Yeah.
worked. Sometimes maybe it takes something else because at the end of the day, I want them to change their life. I did it with my college roommate. He was 60 pounds overweight, didn't have a girlfriend. His life sucked, smoking cigarettes, drinking, all this kind of stuff. By the time he graduated, he was 170, had a girlfriend, got married, improved his life 100 times full because I told him, I said, bro, we can do this. And sure enough, he did it, and he's been thin ever since.
That's pretty awesome.
So, I mean, it's people don't have an idea of how much it affects your life until you've gone from one extreme to the other. I used to be overweight, and I know what it's like to be made fun of. And then it's crazy how much your life changes in the way people treat you when you're in shape versus when you're not. There's a big difference. Big difference.
And then one other thing is that at least my goal for our company is getting into retail stores. So by the end of 2024, hopefully we'll be in a GNC or Walmart.com online or something like that.
That would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yes. So we've done a ton of work to make that happen. So that's part of it.
Yeah, we've had some retail stores that are very happy with our products. The people like them, they come back. The stuff works. Like, and a lot of these products are designed to give you results like quickly. Some of our products like Halotropin, MD2, these are all products that are going to give you quick results. And the reason why we do this is because when you're starting a fitness goal, people want to see results yesterday. Yeah. So we want to be able to give them safe results. Now, it's not going to take you and turn you into a house, obviously, but it's going to give you some quick results that's going to keep you motivated. You're going to feel, okay, wow, I'm getting a bigger pump at the gym. Wow, I've gained 7-8 pounds and it's been 14 days, right? I'm getting bigger, I look bigger in the mirror. Like those little things help people stay focused, and it gives them a reward for their dedication quickly.
Well, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like you guys got some amazing stuff in the works. I'm super excited to watch it unfold. I have some good feeling for you guys. You guys really have a lot of passion and inspiration, and I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to our listeners and to myself today and educate us on your great company. So I would encourage everybody, go to AO Nutrition, check out all their supplements. I'll have all the links in the show notes. And at the end of it all, as we close, the thing is if we care about what we are like today, we're going to care about what we're like tomorrow. And the clock is ticking. and we're not getting any younger, and now is the time to really start making a difference. January's come and gone. New Year's resolutions have staled and cold and stalled, and they're long gone. February's almost over, and at the end of the day, you have to stop bullshitting yourself and know that it's all in your hands. And so thank you so much, you guys. Have a great rest of the day. And thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of the Your Fitness Chick podcast. As always, I'm here to inspire, uplift, educate, and motivate you to become your best self. Hey.